Hey everybody, one of Wiisdom here. It is 11:28 p.m. Central Standard Time here in Texas, and I just got done compiling all my notes from the Nintendo Switch reveal. So, January 12th, 2017 was the day, and what I want to do here, I was actually going to get like some images so I could have them as the background of the video. Nintendo's website is currently down, likely because of too much hype train going on. But I guess we will just kind of start from the beginning, and I'll try to provide sort of a basic overview. So number one, the presentation started at 10 p.m. my time. It was done about 11:06, so just a shade over an hour. It kind of fluctuated. It was primarily geared towards like the Japanese marketplace, if you will, corporate type of a thing. They brought in a couple of third-party people, and then there at the very, very end, they kind of transitioned over to Nintendo Europe and Nintendo America before going back to Tokyo and giving people something that they really wanted to know. So, that said, launch date, let's get started there. March 3rd, 2017. So, is that, I'm hoping it's, what format have they gone with? January, February, March. That's a Friday. Very cool. So here in Texas, spring break is typically like the middle-ish of March. So, assuming wherever you're at applies that same logic, this could be something you could get before spring break and then enjoy it for that week. The launch price, $299, $300 if you will. Gotta say that seems a bit steep. I'll tell you why here in a little bit, and it's in part because we'd had so many rumors from pretty reputable sources of $249. That just seems like a much, much better price. Now, I'm just going straight from my notes. This is sort of their order. I may, jump around here and there on my notes, but online services, they claim there's multiplayer gaming via smart device. You can set a play appointment, as they called it, which I thought was hilarious. It's like, yes, Mr. Wiisdom, your 3 o'clock play appointment is available, or something like that. And you're just like, oh, sorry, work, I got to clock out. I've got this play appointment, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which we'll talk about soon. But that cracked me up. There's a lot of, the Japanese, they have, it's like a very dry, kind of possibly coerced from the bosses type of a humor, but I enjoy it. It's one of those things you can watch it and pick up on that stuff. So the thing is, there's going to be a try for free during trial after launch, and then you have to pay for your services. Now, I've already had a lot of people when I tweeted this like, oh, but that's a good thing. And I don't agree. And here is why. If I go on a PC and I buy Minecraft, I'm done. I paid $26 and all the updates in the world come to me. If I want to go start a server, I pay for the server, or I can join a free server or join a friend server that they've paid for. They're hosting from their home type of a thing. And those are all auxiliary expenses, right? One of the things that I've despised about PlayStation and Xbox is that you get them, and one of the selling points is like, oh, well, I can race online with my friends. I can play this with my friends. And it's like, yes, you can do that if you pay money every month. Now, if Microsoft and Sony were basically your ISP, your internet service provider, and you used it not only for your console, but for your, streaming of Netflix, if that's what you do, checking email, watching YouTube videos, whatever you do with an internet connection. But that's not the case. You basically have to come in and pay your ridiculously high rates to your internet service provider. In my case, they're high and they suck. The speeds are getting slower, despite them advertising they get quicker. And then I have to come in, and if I want to play online Xbox, this is why I didn't do the Superchargers Racing League. I would have had to pay $60 to have a year's access to that. It's just not, I work, and then, like, who's up at 3 in the morning? Almanek's in Australia, maybe, because it's a normal time for him. But it's one of those deals where I've never been a fan of that, and I felt like Nintendo had done the right thing. They put out great games. Their philosophy has always been software sells hardware. So yeah, maybe you're not going to go buy a Wii or a Wii U, but then you see Smash Bros. Or you see Mario Kart Wii or Mario Kart 8 or something along those lines, Super Mario Galaxy 2. And you're like, I really want to play that game, and if I did get the Wii U or the Wii, then I could go in and I could play Skyward Sword or, whatever appeals to you. And the online is just an added bonus, right? And I loved that they didn't charge you for it. And now they're kind of taking the mainstream approach, which a lot of people thought they were going to do with the Nintendo Network and Wii U. I'll never support it. I don't care what anyone's logic is. My whole life, being someone that was with Nintendo, I had a PS2 and then went to the Wii U. It was always, oh yeah, man, but Xbox's online infrastructure is so good. I felt like the Wii was superior. I don't get online on the Xbox and be like, wow, this infrastructure is so cool. I kind of find it more clunky than the Wii. The Wii U's online infrastructure, in my opinion, is kind of nice. I don't know. I'm a guy that grew up more with MySpace than Facebook. Maybe I'm different than most people. But nonetheless, paying for the right to play an online game when you bought the console, you bought the game, and then you pay for your internet. It's like you have to have a gateway fee. It's just stupid, It's like if I buy tickets to go watch a football game, and I get to the gate and I give them my ticket, and they're like, okay, well, do you want to watch the game or just be in the stadium? And I'm like, well, I'm going to watch the game. I bought a ticket. And then they tell me, oh, no, you just bought a ticket to be in the stadium. If you actually want to watch the game, you'll have to buy a separate ticket. If anyone wants to argue with me on that, I'm sorry, but I think you're an idiot and you've already lost. I don't know what you could possibly present to me that says you should definitely give someone an extra $60 a year. It's no, not at all. That's my thoughts, and I'm sticking to them there. So that's a bit of a disappointment, a big disappointment in my opinion. The good news is there's no region locking, and that basically means if ever there's a case where you want it, there's always those like dedicated hardcore people that want to play a Japanese RPG, right? Previously, you could do that if you bought like a Japanese Wii U type of a thing, right? And then you basically pay ridiculously high import fees or something, or have friends and connections and black markets, I don't know. Now you can come in, you can get your console, you can get your game, no region lock. So if you move to Paris, and you break your Switch, you can go and you can get a new Switch and all your games from America work. Okay, so that's a great thing. The 1990s would be proud. It's a little overdue, in my opinion. The good thing there is as well, if you cannot wait, let's say that they release a new Animal Crossing game, the successor to New Leaf, if you will, which, by the way, based on the Switch's potential, that will probably be the biggest game in that franchise's history, although New Leaf sets the bar extremely high. But it's going to be a thing where if it comes out in Japan, for whatever reason, a month or two early, you could potentially go and pay the freight, or have your contact ship it to you or something and pay them back and start playing the game early. So I'm thinking we should see more universal launches. None of this like, well, Australia gets it on the 21st, Japan the 22nd, Mexico the 25th, America the 27th, and Canada the 30th. And you're always like, what's the point of that crud, And so I'm thinking this might streamline things there. The presentation itself, they had a ton of dry puns. They also do what I call the switch snap. If you read my notes, you'll see that. If I do get a Switch, whenever I take the Joy-Cons off or anything, dock it, if there's not that audible snapping sound, I'm going to be slightly disappointed. It's just kind of catchy after a while. Seems like it would annoy you, but it doesn't. Basically, then they go in and they kind of talk about how the Switch inherited DNA from all the previous consoles, and they reference the handle on the GameCube and the DS. They kind of build it up in that manner. Still no Waluigi announcement I have in my notes. and you can play at home and on the go. There's basically 3 modes they tout. TV mode, which is sort of your typical gamer, console on the couch eating Doritos and Mountain Dew. Tabletop mode, it's sort of more of like a modern smartphone vibe. You use the kickstand. You can use the Joy-Con. It allows 2 players and away from the TV when you use the Switch itself, right? And then there's handheld mode, which sort of think 3DS-ish type of a thing. You can attach the left and right Joy-Cons, play anywhere, and share joy, and then I put only if you win. They estimate battery life 2.5 to 6.5 hours. That's a very wide range and makes me think it's probably going to be about 3. So, just knowing what I know about electronics, that's if it was 6.5 hours, they would have like 5 to 7. Okay, so 2.5 and 6.5, that's 4 hour differential there. So yeah. Then you can charge it with a USB Type C. They included an AC adapter. If you recall, some people had a nightmare of a time getting charging components for the gamepad, which is ridiculous. Capacitive touchscreen, connect via Wi-Fi. You can connect up to 8 switches for maximum switchcraft. That was my own pun, not from Japan. So that'll be cool. It's sort of like a LAN party, if you like take your, gaming computer to a buddy's house or something type of a thing. So it opens up the door for some different options. The 3 playstyles, they keep touting it as more active and greater freedom, whatever. Lots more Switch puns. Controllers are important. They kind of went into that. They're dubbing these controllers that slide off as Joy-Cons. You should know that by now. They've got the Joy-Con grip, which is included. It basically embeds the left and right Joy-Cons into sort of what would resemble a modern controller, PS4, Xbox One type of a thing. They suggest it for TV mode, the 2 loose Joy-Cons for tabletop. It's interesting, the analog stick functions as a button as well, which most of them do. ABXY, there's an NFC reader and writer, obviously that being an amiibo feature, on both of the Joy-Cons, so that's pretty cool. They have a square button sort of on the sides. It right now will be a screenshot capture, but later they're going to do video captures, which is kind of interesting. Then they tout how you can share your grabs over social media, which is assuming they're upgrading the Wii U infrastructure. Each Joy-Con has an accelerometer and gyro sensors, which means motion control gaming should be pretty mint. There's 2 buttons in the rail that connect to the Switch. They double as left and right buttons, which is a good use of space. I mean, these things look really... I'm worried that it won't be comfortable for people with big hands, but I probably won't know until it's out, so that'll be something we'll have to cross when we get there. They tout 2 controllers from the start, but really, I don't view it that way. I view it as one. 2 Joy-Cons make 1 controller, so unless they're coming in and we've got 4 Joy-Cons and 2 controllers and 2 grips and all that stuff, it's really just one to me. The guy got comfy on the couch. There will be variant controllers, if you will. Start the hype train, right? Neon blue and neon red, they're mixed. They look cool, but like if I wanted blue, I'd want blue and blue, not blue and red. I guess I don't know if it's left and right or player 1, player 2 was their mentality, but it is what it is. There is a Joy-Con strap. I'm sad they didn't call it the Wiimote strap out of respect for its predecessors. But I have this strange desire to go find a TV and be amongst the first people to break it with a Joy-Con controller. Maybe that would get my channel to go viral. A viral video, and we'd start picking up subscribers. I don't know. There's an infrared camera, which is nuts. They didn't really... That's something to me that would have been cool to have explained better, but they showed rock, paper, scissors and how it can sense it, and, I don't know. Rumble and sound, they can convey conditions and actions. They did this really cool thing where they had ice dropping into a cup, and you're supposedly able to not only hear it in the Joy-Con, but also feel it, and then they said you could feel the water being poured in it, which... I don't know. That's something, again, if it was in my hand, I could explain it better, but third person, I just see what I see. There's what they claim is an HD rumble. I'm not sure how you get high definition rumble, but apparently that's a thing now. And then they just continue to tout, like new play styles, new and interesting, gonna entice more people. I think they're pulling on the magic of the Nintendo Wii at that point in time. Now, then they got into 2 new games. Game number 1 is 1-2 Switch. It started out with this good, bad, and ugly gunslinger deal, sort of like my natural habitat. It was sort of like a reaction time-based game. They're saying that what they're going for is instead of you looking at a TV or the tablet or the Switch or anything, you're watching your opponent and you're reacting based on them. It's sort of like a Switch version of Wii Sports and Nintendo Land, in my opinion. Kind of going to be like a starter software that showcases the potential of the console, sort of a deal. They then, at the very end, when I had already come to that conclusion, they specifically said it's like an icebreaker and party game. Fun for all by way of the Joy-Con. So, Yeah, it's pretty much Wii Sports and Nintendo. I mean, it's the highlight software. So, game number 2 is ARMS. I said it looks like Rock'em Sock'em robots with Punch Out and Wii Sports boxing set in a Pokemon arena, because that's what it looks like to me. It's a fighting sports game using extendable arms to battle. You can mix boxing and shooting. You have a Joy-Con in each hand in the thumbs-up position. You can twist your fist for curved punches. You can dash and jump to perform a variety of actions like dodging and uppercuts. You can go solo versus the AI, split screen with friends, and online battles are coming. So, the problem with both of these games, I think they both release March 3rd alongside of it, but I definitely feel that 1-2 Switch should have been packaged with the Switch, especially at $299. Okay, if it was $249, you could maybe justify it, but I mean, it should be in there. Period. It's just one of those things. But they didn't guess Wii Sports shouldn't be there. It's something that, in my opinion, should just be there. And let people have their fun with it, and then expand it in the future if you have to. ARMS, realistically, the way things have gone, they might ought to include 2 games in it, or at least offer one. 1-2 Switch in your standard packaging, and then if you had like a deluxe version at launch, include ARMS with it. But I could see that being more optional. But 1-2 Switch, IMO definitely should have been included, especially at $300. Up next, they introduced Splatoon 2. I feel really sorry for the employee that had to go over all this stuff. Summer 2017 is the release date. You can read my notes. Then they started doing this thing. It was Mario in the big city. It looked like this massive open world. I got vibes from Grand Theft Auto, and then they kind of went to more like colorful, playful, non-city environments. I was hoping maybe it was Super Mario Galaxy 3, which I still think should have come to the Wii U at some point in time. And then they showed like Dapper Bow. I mean, he was decked out. He had like this white pimp suit and hat on. He looked like Kingpin. It was a good look for him, I have to say. So much shown. I have no clue when I am watching Mario Party. I got vibes of that. Galaxy 3, Animal Crossing, Smash Bros. There were so many strange bosses that I saw roaming around. I'm like, what is this? Just a compilation? And then they revealed it was Mario Odyssey. So that is the title. The theme is a journey to an unknown world outside of the Mushroom Kingdom, which again, that's kind of Galaxy-esque to me, but the landscapes look familiar to the real world, so if you're like, that looks like New York City or the Redwood Forest or Tokyo, there's a good chance it is, or it's modeled after that, so that's kind of a cool deal. They said, Eyes on Mario's cap offer actions only experienced on Switch, which I'm like, okay, does that mean it's going to be on the, Wii U? That was never really elaborated on. They said the cat plays an important role in his journey. It's been 20 years since Mario 64. This has been super exciting for devs to work on it. They can't wait to see a reaction. It'll be the holiday 2017 title. My thoughts are it'll probably be in a bundle. And by that point in time, not only will it probably be in a bundle, but we might have a price drop. And that's probably going to be the pristine time to buy. So then we kind of got into the third-party stuff. They talked about the 80 games in development. They showed Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Fire Emblem Warriors. They looked amazing. They had the typical anime-esque voiceovers, which, that's kind of cool. Square Enix is bringing Dragon Quest X, 11, and Heroes 1 and 2, as well as an unnamed game. Atlas has the 25th anniversary of whatever that I won't pronounce correctly. There's more Switch puns and jazz snaps. Sega is considering new games and will present them soon. They said the new hardware was impressive. And then after that, dude just sort of bowed out with that. They've online, there's announcements of Sega Mania is coming. So I don't really know why he didn't get to announce that there. Then there was the whole big Skyrim is coming to Switch. They're excited about you being able to play at home and on the go. That's pretty much what all the developers say. And for them, they said they were really, really excited to finally work with Nintendo. And it's like, hey, you could have been doing that already if you really wanted to. But whatever. Basically, the Switch is going to make it really easy for developers. If you put something on PC, there's minimal work, unlike in the past. So that's probably the doorway that opened, And I suppose after the Wii and Wii U, they sort of had to go that route anyway. There was Travis Touchdown, which I don't really think I know anything about. The EA guy was there announcing FIFA. Then they showed a lot of Minecraft in this little compilation. And I was thinking, like, motion control Minecraft, although I don't think you'd want to do it all the time, it would kind of be fun. You know, like swinging your sword, pulling the bow back, breaking the rocks, you know, type of a thing. Like I said, not all the time, but just like, you know, every now and then, I think it'd be enjoyable. They talked then about the new colors for the Joy-Con, which it was only neon blue and neon red. Standard will be the gray color. And then configurations, I didn't know what they were going to talk about, but it's basically what's in the box by the way we speak over here in the West. So you get the Switch console, left and right Joy-Con wrist straps, the Joy-Con grip, Switch dock, HDMI cable, and the AC adapter. The Pro Controller is available separately. Again, that is something at the 300 mark they might have just included, sort of gotten you off the ground legitimately with two controllers. No pricing that I'm aware of, again, because their website is still down. I just refreshed it. So I don't know peripheral pricing, like if a Joy-Con is super affordable at $19 or $29, or if it's like, oh, you want that second Joy-Con, how about $80? No clue. My thoughts are it's probably going to be $40 to $60, but the lower the better, in my opinion. Particularly when you realize people are probably going to want a lot of them. I hope they don't get greedy there. Let's see here. There's the gray, and then there's a neon blue and red. Both of them will have the same MSRP. More details on the Switch website after the presentation, which again is currently down, probably due to way too many people trying to go there at the same time. Lastly, they went over to Europe and then America. In Europe, the guy said, good morning. He's excited for you to know about Switch, and thanks for getting up early. I think there's going to be play events at Frankfurt, Paris, and Norway, which probably gyps 95% or more of the population from ever getting to play it. Whatever. He said there'd be more dates coming up. Check the website. Then they went over to Reggie. He's getting ready to show the Switch off tomorrow, of course, in New York City, which screws pretty much everyone else in the country over. But don't worry, the Switch will be on display 6 Sundays in 6 different cities. I don't know if that's 6 different cities each of the 6 Sundays for 36, or if it's like, we're going to New York, we're going to Seattle, we're in Chicago. I really hate that mindset. They would be far, far, far better served to go to Toys R Us, to go to GameStop, to pick one of those 2 retailers and go. When you limit yourself to big megalopolis cities, you just alienate a whole lot of people, and it's a piss poor strategy. When Skylanders came out for the first time, they sent product specialists to every single Toys R Us. They had them on site for demos multiple days, and it paid its dividends, I must say. And it's not just like that. You don't just hire a pretty face or some young dude, you know, that people will want to talk to. You get people that know the product, can answer the technical questions, can tout it, can explain why you'd want to buy it. And limiting that to 6 cities, well, I'm sure it'll be a great time. And not quite on par with what I think they're capable of, and what would do the fan base the most good, and ultimately make them the most initial sells. So live and learn, Nintendo. I said, really, that's all, lame sauce X10. And then again, they tout about the new ways to play, which if you've had a 3DS and a Wii U, it's kind of a combination of those, and it doesn't really seem that new. But I will give the Switch that as sort of pushing innovation, and it's doing it in a non-stupid way that should be fun and practical. So then they did a soundtrack for the Breath of the Wild. Miyamoto came on, the producer came on. They were, Reggie was asking about the release dates. Sent it back to New York, Tokyo. Then they came in. Tokyo showed this really cool trailer for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. He also stated that they would be taking pre-order reservations beginning the 21st of January in Japan. My hope with this is that Nintendo doesn't pull a Nintendo and do limited, quantities by choice, sort of like they do with Amiibo, or like they do with the NES Classic type of a thing, where they just it's by design that they limit the quantities to drive up hype. That would be completely asinine and incredibly stupid, and it's going to drive people further and further away from you and further away from paying $300 to purchase the new console, regardless of however cool it may be. There will be idiots that will go and they'll do it and they'll pay over the MSRP, but everyone else that's smart, and there's starting to be more and more people that fall into that bracket, in part just because money is tight, they're going to wait, and you're not going to even get the $299 from them. They're going to wait for the sale price and the bundle, and time is on their side type of a thing. So let's see. They hope they've shown enough to earn your support. They had one more thing to share. That's when they went in the trailer. And then at the end of the trailer, March 3rd, 2017, if you were paying attention, that is the exact same date as the Switch launches. That's what I'd predicted. They'll simultaneously launch it. They didn't say jack about the Wii U version, but I'm assuming it'll also be at the same time. That's sort of what they do. If you think back to like Skyward Sword and I guess Majora's Mask, right? But the broadcast ended. They never mentioned Waluigi. Therefore, it was disappointing. When I was trying to go online and get pictures for this video, which I still don't have because everything's down, I saw a deal about Mario Kart 8 on Nintendo's YouTube channel Deluxe, and it is coming April 28th. It looks like a pretty much the same game with a couple of improvements, maybe some new items, new modes, new tracks. They had like a Splatoon track, which I thought they might have done last time. But I don't know the price. I saw it for Europe. I don't know what it'll be in America. That would be something that would interest me pretty strongly. But I guess what we will do now is kind of just recap this as best we can. So basically, the Nintendo Switch is going to launch March 3rd, 2017. Retail price $300. You get the Switch. You get a controller that includes the left and right Joy-Con, which to me is one controller, not two. It's the parts are the collective whole, right? So there's two Joy-Cons make one controller, not two Joy-Cons make two controllers. So there's that. You get the AC adapter, everything. They didn't really go into capacities, SD storage, anything like that. I'm sure it's on the website. Really, I thought that they would tout like, hey, look at our power. Look at, these specs. Look at this, technical data, geeks, and absorb it and appreciate it and worship it. Wasn't really any mention of any of that, which I think is kind of surprising. I thought they'd want to tout it. I guess their way of touting that is by having the third-party support. That's sort of like their, hey, look what we did, But I still think it would have been worthwhile to go through and spec that stuff out, just for bragging rights, if nothing else. The no region locking is big. That's a great thing. I personally am disappointed with the online paid deal. Like right now, if I wanted to go online and play Mario Kart 8 with someone, I could do it, and it wouldn't cost me anything because I bought the console, I bought the game, and I have internet. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you buy the Switch, you buy the game, you pay for your internet, and then you have the gateway charge like Sony and Microsoft do to actually play online with people. I hate that. I'll never support it. It just pushes me closer and closer to going all PC. That's all that accomplishes. So that was very unfortunate. I'm sure it'll be great for Nintendo's bottom line and everything, but for the end consumer, particularly in the Nintendo ecosystem where you're accustomed to, you go get your console, you plug it in, you connect it, you go, you play online, you're done. It's going to be a bit of a sticker shock to people having to go and pay $50, $100 a year just to have online access. So pretty disappointed about that. They didn't really expand on the video capture. I don't know if it'll be like, we have in the, Xbone and the PS4 where you can stream straight from the console. They do a lot with Twitch, but at the same time, they kind of spurn Twitch. So I would hope that this time around they just have it built in. Actually, I don't, but I'm sure they probably will since they collect ad revenue from all their own videos that other people create and commentate over. Hey, that's the way of Nintendo these days, right? So let's see here. Personally, I'm a little concerned about the controller. The Joy-Cons look incredibly small to me. Until I have them in my hand, I don't know if it's going to be comfortable. Like, I've got an Xbox controller on my desk right now that I just picked up, and I love it. It fits my hands perfectly. You've got, leeway side to side if you got smaller or bigger hands. The Joy-Cons are a fixed size, and they look small, and they don't look comfortable. I could be totally wrong. They could be amazing. Like the Super NES controller you wouldn't think would be comfortable, and it is. The NES controller was just kind of rectangular because it was. All right? If you hold that thing for a long time, you start to get those creases in your hands, and the corners pinch and, push into your palm. It sucks. You would have had to, grown up in the late 80s and early 90s to experience what I'm speaking of. Controllers have come a long way. And the main thing with me, if something is really small, that's when it hurts my hand. It's not necessarily when something's too big, if it's within reason. But when things get smaller, that's when you really start, kind of cramping up and having some issues. At least that's the way I've experienced it. The $300, I feel like $249 would have just been so much better of a starting point. I feel like this is the thing where if they drop down, people are just going to laugh them to scorn again, like they've done in the past. Not having, software with it at this point in time, at that price point, I feel like is a bad move. The thing that's still interesting to me, and I'm thinking it's probably not a deal because it would have been touted, I had these high hopes, right? That I could come in and just like we were able to do back in the day, I always hoped the Wii or the Wii U would emulate with the DS and 3DS, where I can have my 3DS in the game and I can broadcast it to my TV, right? By way of either being wireless now or, being connected through some sort of a special cable that you have to buy for $30, whatever. If I could just play New Leaf on a TV and record from that, it would be amazing. I'd love to see Mario Kart 7 on a big screen. The Professor Layton series would be super cool, seeing that on a big screen, right? They said nothing about it. So, and you really didn't get like a detailed look at anything other than the controllers, the Joy-Cons. You didn't get to take a good look at the dock or the Switch itself, the tablet. It was like, oh, there's the kickstand in the back corner, but they kind of dodged the technical side and like up close and personal with the consoles, right? It was all about the Joy-Con. They did do a good job there, but I wish they'd have done the same for the rest of it. So that was a bit of a downer. But $300 with no game, not my cup of tea, man. I think they'd have done a bit better. And like I said, that ultimately for me, I feel like I'm going to wait. Super Mario Odyssey coming holiday 2017 makes me think there will be a bundle. And by that point in time, some of these other games may have dropped in price. As cool as it is to go out on launch day and grab it and come back and unbox it and plug it in and play with it and talk about it and share your thoughts with other people that have it, I sort of felt like I got burned on the Wii U and the Xbox One when I got both of those on launch day. I don't really have anything to show for it aside from paying a lot more, not getting an extra controller, not getting an extra game bundled with it, and then not getting, like free year or 3 months even of Xbox Live, right? So Mario Kart 8 Deluxe would be awesome. Breath of the Wild would be great. But I'd kind of like to wait it out and see if I can't make... like right now, if you get an Xbox One, you get amazing bundles. You get like a special colored Xbox, you get an extra controller, you get a game with it. It's like a $60 game, brand new premium stuff. They throw in Xbox Live all the time. The prices are insane. Insanely low, particularly from when you bought it new. And it's not really that old yet even. So I'm kind of leaning towards waiting, just because, and then if there's any issues, they can take care of themselves. If they do an initial price drop, you don't have to say, hey, I just got screwed out of $50. But the main thing with me, I wish we knew if there was support for the previous library. Is there going to be, the virtual console? If you have the games on the Wii or the Wii U, do you get them at a discounted price? Do you have to buy them at all? Or will it just transfer through the Nintendo network? If the 3DS games could be playable, that would be huge. I mean, that would just be amazing. That's something that would convey someone like myself to say, hey, screw waiting around. I think we're going to get this now. Have some fun with it. But that said, I'm kind of losing my voice. This is a little longer than I thought it would be. Well, apparently the voice recorder software stops at 3431, if anyone was wondering. This is why I had the same issue in Jet Rocket back in the day. This is when you had to record your audio separately and then lay it over and sync it up yourself, right? I was just literally saying how this is going a little longer, and then this little thing popped up, and I thought I was going to talk about Windows installed updates or something 6 hours ago, and nope, it was your audio recording is paused. I'm like, I didn't pause it. Tried to record, couldn't. So, hey, we learned something here. Voice recorder maxes out, at least on my end, 3431. But as I was saying before we were cut off, literally, kind of losing my voice. This is longer than I thought it would be. I have no pictures. I refreshed the website again. It's still down. So this will probably be a black screen that says Nintendo Switch or something like that. But I'm pretty excited. I just don't know if I'm going to rush out and subject myself to being a victim of a launch day again, right? It's cool. I love it. It's exciting. And I very well may wind up doing it, particularly if they release more information on the 3DS and, the previous consoles and whatnot. I keep getting a ton of Twitter notifications. I kind of live tweeted it somewhat sarcastically. But nonetheless, I remain very much a Nintendo fan. I'm excited for it. Personally, if I had to break it down for you, I feel like it should be $249. I feel like that should include 1-2 Switch. I'm not asking for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I'm just saying 1-2 Switch should be packaged with it, so people go home with their Switch and they're like, oh, this is so cool, And then friends come over and they're like, oh, no way, I got to go get one of these. And then they can bring their Switch over and have more controllers. I kind of feel like maybe just to offset things, they're sort of on rocky ground here as of late, possibly include either A, the Pro Controller, or B, another Joy-Con. Just throwing that out there. I wish I knew prices on the peripherals, which again I'm thinking are available or should be very, very soon pricing for us, but everything's dead. It's down. It's, 504 gateway at this point in time. But I feel like that would have been beneficial. And then I feel like, and again, I'm kind of worried about it because I feel like if they were going to say, hey, you wanted to play Animal Crossing New Leaf on your big TV, but you can't, now you can thanks to the Switch. I think that's something they should have said if that was a feature. So I'm a little afraid that it's not a feature, which is sort of disappointing because I felt like that would be a great way to do it. And again, if I could have seen the cartridges, if I could have seen the Switch itself, we might be able to gauge on our own end if it's the same slots, if it has the Tang, no Tang, whatever. But no, I never really saw anything. Just the focus was on the Joy-Con, in terms of physicality. So. But what I am most interested in knowing are your thoughts, particularly more if you're, there's the people that hate Nintendo and everything they do is stupid. I know your thoughts, okay? You're not really who I'm interested in. What I'm interested in is, the Nintendo loyalists. Is this something you're going to jump out and buy and not care about, possibly spending $50 extra and getting nothing beneficial? How do you feel about the online charges? That's going to be something new for Nintendo people. What do you think of the launch lineups? What do you think of the upcoming games? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, do you feel like, hey, maybe we should have just had a new full game and sold that? Which very well, that could limit its sales just when people think it's a rehash type of a thing. But nonetheless, it being playable on the go too, that's kind of worth it, in my opinion. But I'm interested in your thoughts on that. If you're going to pick it up, if you want to pick it up, if you're going to hold out for a bundle, if you're going to wait until there's Smash Bros, And I realize Mario Odyssey looks a bit like a Galaxy 3, but I have no clue why they never released that on the Wii U. There was plenty of development time, in my opinion. And I feel like they even gave up. To date, the best version of Madden I have played was 13 on the Wii U. The ability to draw your own plays on the gamepad was amazing. No one talked about it, no one appreciated it. I kind of felt like the Wii U was abandoned when Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, or whatever, I probably blew the title on that, but when Tropical Freeze didn't even utilize the gamepad, I was like, what? But this is a first party title, man. But nonetheless, everyone seems hyped about this. It should be super easy for all third-party people to just port everything over. So you've got that going for it. And on top of the third-party, games, you might get a few exclusives. I kind of doubt it. But you'll have the same games that you used to have to buy a PlayStation or an Xbox for. And you'll still have your Mario Kart, your Smash Bros, your 3D Mario, your 2D side-scroller Mario. It's kind of the best of both worlds, and then portable and on the go. There's a lot to like about it, but I think it should have been $249. I think it should have included 1-2 Switch. I wish they'd have gone into more detail on the tech side and sort of explained, if there's backward compatibility of any sort. Another controller would have been nice, and paying for the online kills me. It's just a very, very sad day if you've come about in the Nintendo ecosystems in the last decade, basically. It's kind of a bit of a disappointment there, but nonetheless, I'll quit rambling. Let me know your thoughts. Again, I apologize. This is probably going to be like a black screen. I will have that denoted at the start of the video. I'll have it in the description box. If you watch the whole black screen, hoping there'd be some amazing trailer or pictures, I tried to warn you. I'm sorry. I'm seriously about to lose my voice, so I'm going to can it, but let me know whatever you want to talk about. Games, your thoughts, your predictions, if you think it's priced perfectly, if you think they should charge more, if you're going to buy 2 of them, whatever you want to throw out there, feel free. I'm just kind of interested in seeing people's reactions to it, so we will leave it at that. Wiisdom.com. Let's go #Switch. If you made it this far and you take the time to comment #Switch, I will give you a bonus brick in the wall of Wiisdom. That, of course, is when Wiisdom plays Minecraft. That said, I'm going to go get this video cranked out for you. I'm going to drink a lot of water, shower, and go to bed. But, on my website, I've got the archive, the full. You can rewatch the live broadcast if you missed it. And I think they did a pretty good job there. It was about an hour, but it seems like one of those deals you're like, well, that was an hour. Because it was like you were so excited, it was sort of like, it seems like 15 minutes at the most. So true story there. But nonetheless, like I said, there's probably a lot more info available. It's just everything is down right now and I can't get to it. So my apologies. That's what happens when you have a real job and have to crank videos out at midnight. So nonetheless, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts. I'll catch y'all back here for more Minecraft, Skylanders, Stardew Valley, and maybe Switch talk. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all later.